Hello everyone, welcome to our YouTube channel. Today we talk about cooking and recipes, popular job types, past and present, and discoveries in Mongolia. The topic chosen by our team is Mongolian cooking and recipes. Mongolia is a multi-ethnic country. For example, Uzumchun, Uraha, Khoton, Halmuk, Burat, and Kazakh etc. More than 80% of Mongolia's ethnicity is part of the Kazakh. These population groups each have a different culture and accent, as well as a different diet. But all Mongolian food is rich in meat. Kazakh, Burat, and Uzumchun dishes have their own characteristics. For example, dairy products have a special place in the diet of the Burats. Their holiday table must include dairy products, sour cream and milk, etc. The most popular Mongolian dishes, such as dumplings, pancakes, and tun, are mostly eaten by halak population groups. It is not possible to address all the foods of Mongolia, so we will choose the food of two population groups and the present recipe.
Tuna assisted with vegetables, meat, and fresh or fried nuts. Now, let's all get to know the recipes. 200 meat without bonus, some vegetables, onion, garlic, and 2 cup flour, 3 to 4 tablets water, salt, pepper, and oil. Mix the flour and water to create a soft dough. Let it rest for 15 minutes. Separate the dough in 4 pieces and roll into long pieces. Now, cut the 4 long pieces in half and place one of the quarters on top of the other half in the same direction. Cut in half in the same direction twice until you get a stack of dough just about 2 by 7 inches long, about 2 inches tall. From this stack, cut the noodles about 3.2 inches.
First of all, you have to heat up your fry pan and add the cooking oil, 1 bay leaves, garlic, and onion. And after that, you have to fry until it's a golden brown. Remember, until it's a golden brown. And next, just toss the meat, carrot in a pan. Maybe add the color peppers if you want to, and let them cook for at least 3 minutes. Next, it's a seasoning time. You know what? It's actually quite easy to season the tun. You just need 2 pinch of salt and a little bit of black peppers. And add 4 ounces of water just to fully cook the ingredients. Lastly, you just have to add fully cooked noodles in the fry pan and just mix them. Ta-da! Our food is now ready to go to our belly.
So now let's talk about the Kazakh's traditional food of kat, which is a traditional sausage like food from the Kazakhs. There are so many delicious food in Kazakh, it is one of them. Here's how to make a kat. It is a sliced horse rib meat in an intestine casing. The ribs are removed from the meat and hanging for 5 to 7 hours to drain blood. The intestines should be removed and you have washed thoroughly, then season with salt, pepper, garlic, and leave for 1 to 2 hours. Then fill it with the meat and two ends are tied. After this preparation, the cat can either be smoked at 122 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit for 12 to 18 hours, or dried outdoors for a week in a place exposed to direct sun and wind. Before serving, the cat is cooked in boiling water for 2 hours. The cooked cat is sliced into 0.4-inch thick pieces and served with onions and seasonal vegetables.
Wow, really? It sounds so delicious. We learned about one of Mongolian foods, soyvon and kazı. which are some of the Kazakhs' traditional dishes. Every Mongolian aim has its own cooking characteristics and unique recipes about every food. Now I really want to cook kazı and eat with my friends. Did this video make you want to eat Mongolian foods? Watch the next part of the video to learn more about Mongolian culture now. Before I forget, I have something interesting to share about an entirely different part of Mongolian culture. When you choose a career, you are choosing work that you will likely become an expert in over time through education and experience. You will probably work in this career field for at least several years. Nowadays, with the development of technology, most professions are no longer needed. But teaching and medicine will always be a popular profession. A profession that was popular in the past is no longer popular. The most popular jobs change from where to where depending on any number of socio-economic conditions. Muhundral, can you tell about what jobs were popular before, if you are curious about it?
Speaking of popular jobs in the past, it's interesting in the late 1950s and early 1960s that the People's Republic of Mongolia underwent socialist industry. So this construction, transportation, communication, and agricultural development were transited into a modern industrial agricultural society. At the beginning of socialism, Mongolians became literate and began to build a public education system to create a vocational program to train skilled workers, and efforts were made to increase and expand the number of specialized secondary schools and to improve the training process. Furthermore, with the development of industry, modern transportation, and communications, the introduction of modern machinery into the national economy, the birth of the working class, technical innovations, scientific development, and foreign relations were expanded at the time. As a result, the number of skilled workers like engineers, experts in leather tanning, wool washing, gold and coal mining industry workers increased, so the role of the working class in Mongolia increased rapidly. However, teachers and doctors played significant contributions at the time. Also, in connection with the collectivization movement, people such as the head of the corporate and head of the brigade were held in high regard, and position of party workers and government officials were popular, especially workers who graduated from university in developing countries such as the Soviet Union.
In 1930s in Mongolia, the United Movement, the cultural activists, and the theater campaign were underway. During the transition period, our country's employment was characterized by ineffective but just less productive and wasteful government employment, as well as structural crisis that was plagued by poverty. In 1990, Mongolia became a democratic country, and since that it has been actively pursuing international policies, so the demand for international diplomats has increased and the reputation of the precision has grown. Mongolians are currently working in such fields: lawyers, economics, accounting, finance, historians, philosophers, political scientists, journalists, sociologists, and business administration, and they are going to be jobless jobs. The information technology industry is a unique branch that, regardless of space, can manage and work on its own. We see the information technology industry as a fully capable sector that will bring about positive changes in the country's economy in the short term. the mountain mining industry, which carries the main burden of the current economy on its back, is seen as a new opportunity for replace it.
That reminds me, Mukunda. So I will continue to talk about popular jobs from 1990 to 2000s. In 1990, as the need for communication with many countries increases, people with foreign language, knowledge of law, and international relations are becoming more in demand, while ordinary people are increasingly switching due to the sudden market storm. The plan was to open a border crossing way with neighboring China. With the opening of the border, almost all ordinary workers began to trade, importing and selling all kinds of goods from their southern and northern neighbors, and exporting leather and cashmere from Mongolia. The richest people at that time were traders. There was a lot of demand in Mongolia at the time. After the market storm subsided, construction and urban planning stories arose, and the period of great development began, with the Ministry of Construction and Transportation and the Ministry of Education being named the best jobs. In other words, better jobs were the most popular. At the time, professions such as doctors, judges, lawyers, advocates, and businessmen, which had not lost their prestige, were still in their infancy.
Firstly, thank you for informing us about the past, Sejong. And now I will give you a brief information about the professions that are most in demand in today's society in modern Mongolia. Compared to 1990 to 2000, most people have been pursuing higher education since 2000, which has accelerated Mongolia's development. So here are the top 5 most popular professions in Mongolia now. Number 1 of this list is marketing manager. In the recent years, Mongolia's national production has been developing rapidly, and at the same time, opportunities to work in the field of marketing and management are also growing fast. Second on this list is IT specialist. In the 21st century, information solves everything, and almost no industry can function without the use of the information technology. Therefore, there is a high demand for development and implementation of special programs for existing and new business. That's why information technology is one of the top professions in Mongolia. As mentioned in the first profession, people are starting to contribute to the country's economy by running their own businesses, which also has a significant impact on the food sector. There are new restaurants everywhere now, and high-class hotels need something to keep up with that. So, question is, who can help with this industry? Most likely high-class chefs. That's why they're third on this list. Isn't it a good thing that food industry is working so hard to keep up with the times and the trends? On this list goes construction engineer. Guys, I don't think I have anything to say about this, right? Construction engineers have always been the most needed profession in any country. And to let you know a little secret, their pay is very, very good. Last but least, cosmetic surgeon. Cosmetic surgeons are medical doctors who perform restorative or corrective surgery to enhance patients' appearances. And people are paying a lot of money to feel confident about themselves. It's one of the professions that are most in demand in today, not only in Mongolia. You know, if you really do well in this branch of medical industry, it's always going to be one of the most promising professions. Asia's largest desert, Mongolian gob, was once a paradise for plants and animals, including dinosaurs. Many paleontologists said it was also a site of mass extinction, where avalanches like sudden landslides swept dinosaurs away and preserved their remains. Gob Desert is the place that the first pro-dinosaurs laid their eggs, first in 1922. Famous Roy Chapman Andrews, director of the American Museum of Natural History, led the paleontologist expedition into the Mongolian gob. Since that, Soviet, Polish, Japan, and the Chinese team led Oviraptorosaurus laying its eggs, giant carnivorous pterosaur and its baby, and egg fossils of many different dinosaur species, and an embryo in an egg. In 100 years of dinosaur research, more than 80 genera of dinosaurs, or over 400 dinosaurs genera known to science have been found in the Mongolian world. Below are the most famous dinosaur species which was found in Mongolia.
The next cool dinosaur is Tarbosaurus. It is also named Tarbosaurus pater. Tarbosaurus was the king in the late Cretaceous of Mongolia, just as its close relative Tyrannosaurus was king in North America. It is called the Asian Tarbosaurus. Tarbosaurus was a big carnivorous predator. The largest known individuals were between 10 and 12 meters in length and 4,000 kilograms. In 1946, a joint Soviet-Mongolian expedition to the Gulf Desert turned up a large skull and some vertebrate Nimict formation. Tarbosaurus is known from relatively abundant and well-preserved fossil material. In fact, 1/4 of all fossils collected from the Nimict formation belong to Tarbosaurus.
So now let's talk about the dinosaurs found in Mongolia. Our raptor lived in the Cretaceous period and inhabited Asia. Its fossils have been found in places such as Batkan region in Kyrgyzstan and Omongol province in Mongolia. Our raptor first discovered by legendary paleontologist Roy Chapman Andrews and first described by Henry Fairfield Osborn in 1924. Our raptor existed from Carnation age to 70.6 million years ago, lived in a terrestrial habitat, and it was omnivore and reproduced by laying eggs. It is a genus of small Mongolian theropod dinosaurs. Most Oviraptor was a rather small feathered Oviraptorid estimated at 5.2 feet long with a weight between 73 to 88 pounds. When living, Oviraptor was one of the most bird-like of the theropod dinosaurs. Oviraptor is named from the Latin terms for egg and rubber, because it was first found with the remains of eggs that were thought to belong Protoceratops and early horned dinosaurs. However, microscopic studies of the eggshells have shown that they weren't ceratopsian but theropod. Later, several other Oviraptor skeletons were found at the nest of the eggs in a brooding position exactly like that of living birds.
Thank you for giving us some interesting information about the dinosaur. Now I will talk in detail about the discovery of Andrews, one of the most famous dinosaur discoveries in Mongolia. Andrews was an assistant and disciple of Osborn, one of America's most famous scholars. And Andrews was a hardworking, determined, intelligent, and organized man. His nickname is Indiana Jones because the name is derived from the fact that he is interested in everything, not afraid of risk, and always wants to discover new things. Some people believe that the Indiana Jones film is based on his life. I think that maybe it is true. He first came to Mongolia in 1919, and then he was come back in 1921, established an expedition. Andrews spent 3 months of summers in Mongolia, and his expedition was to people who did a lot of research on fossil plants and insects. So they found a variety of fossils, the most famous being the dinosaur fossil X. The eggs are now housed in the American Museum of Natural History. These eggs are an important discovery that confirms the theory that dinosaurs lay eggs on Earth.
Find the remains of rare Tyrannosaurus relative called Tarbosaurus. Later in 1971, a Polish team found one of the most famous fossils ever discovered. In 1923, a group of scientists discovered a fossil pieces in the Congo Desert. The pieces were three fossil dinosaur eggs and the fossil of the toothless dinosaur nearby. The group later concluded that the toothless dinosaur had been stealing the eggs.